Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Mantaza and welcome to a new video. Today I will be explaining how to use the head tracking feature in F1 2017 for completely free, and you can use it with your phone if you even want, or you can use it with any other devices that are available. So if you look forward to this tutorial, make sure to leave a like and hopefully it will be useful to you, because I personally feel that the head tracking feature is a big plus in the game, since we still have no VR, but Codemasters have already explained it. But nevertheless, it's good to have at least some head tracking features, and as I said, I will be demonstrating how can you use that completely free if you don't have that expensive equipment. So without further ado, let's start the video. So a quick story about the head tracking feature. So with F1 2017, Codemasters introduced a new feature called head tracking, and it supports both Track IR and Tobii equipment to track your head or your eyes. And I personally feel it's a very needed feature, because back with F1 2015 to F1 2016, well, F1 2016 was already a lot of new features, and with F1 2017, it was kind of hard to, basically introduce new features. So it's good that they have actually introduced something new, but it's currently PC specific only. So if you're on consoles, I'm really sorry, but you can't use that. But if you're on PC, you can use Track IR. Of course, if you have Track IR equipment, just plug it in, launch the app or something, and you're good to go. But since I don't neither have Track IR, nor I have Tobii equipment, which also allows to track your eye movement, and I feel that would be a really interesting thing and also beneficial, because there are specific options. I will be demonstrating how to use it for completely free, because there are free alternatives for Track IR which work with the game. I have personally tested, and yeah, it's just, if you want a bit more immersion, if you play, for example, on Cockpit Cam, it's a very good thing to have. So currently, to my knowledge, I know 3 free apps which can help you with tracking your head or even your face. So the first one you are already seeing on the screen, and it is called FreeTrack. It still needs the tracking clip, which has to have like IR LEDs. So basically you need the supported camera probably, and you need the standard usual tracking clip to track your movements, but you don't need to exactly have track IR, because as far as I know, on eBay you already have a lot of various tracking clip options, so they should be working with this. Or if you are a DIY master, you can actually make it yourself if you want. So it probably would be a bit cheaper to make it yourself, but it needs a lot of work. So if you have tracking clip and you don't want to spend money for Track IR, FreeTrack will probably be a great option. So the second option, as far as I know, is called FaceTrack No IR. It basically tracks your face movements using your only simple camera. Now, I don't know if it works well, because as far as I tried to download, I couldn't really find it. Right now, it might be donationware, so not completely free. But if you don't have anything, and if the next option will be a bit too much of a hassle, you can always try this, FaceTrack No IR. It looks like a good piece of software. It should work with any game available, but the track movements will probably be not really accurate. But who knows? You may find it useful. Also, one more thing before I continue. All this software I found may not be every single piece of software there is available. There might be some other applications available, but these are the three which look like the most, well, most heard of, or the most, well, the least hassle. It has the least hassle, basically. So I think that's pretty much it about the second app, and let's continue with the third one, which I'll be talking a bit more. Now, the third app which I'll be talking mostly about, and I'm currently personally using whenever I want, is called OpenTrack. It is an open source application, and you can find it on GitHub. Basically, use Google and it will be like the first link in the search. So it is called OpenTrack. I like it because it has a variety of options to work with. It doesn't need a particularly tracking clip or doesn't need a camera, basically. It just basically supports a lot of things, like for example, as you can see right now on the screen, you can use the point tracker tracking source, which is basically, like I said, tracking clip. You can use Oculus Rift or like legacy or knockoff versions. Of course, that's only working on Windows. It also has paper marker support. It also supports Razer Hydra or relays from UDP from a different computer, from Android app, from other joystick analog access, from Windows Phone, and also it supports Arduino. It also supports Intel RealSense 3D cameras, or it even supports BBC Microbit Lego sensor tag support. It also even supports SteamVR. It also doesn't say that here, probably because it's still the same Oculus Rift stuff, basically. So yeah, it also supports VR, and it works really well for F1 2017, and I feel like it might be a very big addition to the game. To download it, go to releases and use the latest release, probably on the top of the screen. At this moment of recording, the version is 2.3.9. So basically, scroll down a bit, download Win32 setup.exe, install it, and then launch it. So this is the main screen of the OpenTrack app. Don't mind the desktop in the background, it's a bit messy, I know. But yeah, this is the default OpenTrack window, and it basically explains everything. On the top, you can see if the tracking is working, and you can see the rotation, the turning of the octopus on the right on the top. Also, in the middle on the left, you can see the raw tracker data. So basically, what is your tracking device transporting? And on the right, you can see game data, which is basically the output. So input on the left, output on the right, if you get an idea. And on the bottom, you can see the input options, output options, filter options, profile changing option menu, and start-stop tracking options. So in this example, I will be explaining how to use your phone to track your head movements, because it's really easy. Of course, if you have Android phone or Windows phone. That sounds stupid, but never mind. Sorry, iOS users, at the moment of recording, I don't know of an app which would actually transfer your sensor movements to this app. So it's currently for Android and Windows Phone users, but if you know any application which works with iOS, then you can try that, I guess. So basically, from the input menu, you can select FreePi UDP receiver, or of course, if you have anything else, like for example, RealSense camera or Arduino setup, or maybe point tracker, or maybe even VR device, you can set that up. But I will be using FreePi UDP receiver. Also, press the settings button beside it. Set your UDP port, which, well, is probably needed, probably not, but don't set it to like a very standard port. like use any random number combination up to 5 digits. Well, up to, what's the limit of port number 6 something? I don't know. But yeah, basically you can use any UDP port you want, but don't use use UDP ports. Access order, I currently use it like this. Output yo is input yo, output pitch is input roll, and output roll is input pitch. It might be different for your phone, but for my phone, which is Sony Xperia M2 Aqua, is working well. Add to access is not needed unless the tracking is not really accurate. It won't be very accurate with the phone, but at least you'll have something. And also, why pitch is input roll and roll is input pitch? Probably because I have my phone rotated. Basically, I have my phone horizontal when I use the tracking option. That was a bit awkward, but never mind. Yeah, basically, I use my phone horizontal when I'm using tracking options for the game, and if you want to use it vertical, it might be a bit different. If you rotate it a bit more, it might be again different. You'll need to adjust it for yourself. Output, you'll use the FreeTrack 2.0 enhanced. You don't really need anything else, and unless you're using this for other games. And not to forget, you can use this for any game which supports Track IR. So Euro Truck Simulator 2 supports Track IR, as I know. rFactor supports Track IR, maybe Assetto Corsa, also Elite Dangerous, also Arma 3. There's a variety of games. Basically, check out the Track IR website for the complete list of games, if I'm correct. And basically, this application should work with any game which supports Track IR, basically. In the options, you don't really need to set up anything else here. Filter, use Accela, because as far as I remember, it is the best. And well, basically when you start tracking, you can adjust the settings a bit. So maybe you just play with settings and find which suits you best. Like, for example, maybe you need a bit more of a smoothing, or maybe you need a more sensitivity or a dead zone. Who knows? Now, the important thing to not forget is going to the options menu and setting up the center button, which, well, basically when you open options menu, it will automatically give you shortcuts. So always check centered at startup, and it's important to set up center button. Set it up to the button which should be, for example, like in a way, well, basically, if you're on the wheel, I don't know, maybe set on the wheel button which is not used, and if you have a button which is not used, of course, and you find it to be like, I don't know, maybe in correct place, for example. So yeah, basically set it up to the button you want. Since I don't have a wheel, I set it up to numpad 5, and you're good to go with shortcuts. Now also visit other options, check if everything is okay, like camera. You don't need to change anything here. In output tab, you have to check the check mark for invert pitch. Basically, at least it works for me, but you might need to invert some axis when tracking with your phone, basically because the tracking might not be completely accurate, basically. Also, you can check other tab, but you don't really need to change anything else, and just press OK, save it, and when you're ready, you can click start. And it will work even in your background. And as you can see, no video, because I guess that would be supported for VR. And yeah, we're ready to track. Now we need to set up our phone. Now, to set up your phone, you'll need a special application called FreePy IMU. Basically, it's an emulator which transfers data through UDP stream from your phone to your selected IP address, so basically to your computer. And to find that application, go to the folder where you installed OpenTrack. So by default, it will be C program files x86 if you're on 64-bit Windows, but since the game doesn't support 32-bit Windows, so probably you're on 64-bit Windows. Of course, if you're using this tutorial for other games, it might be just program files, but anyway, let's continue on. So yeah, by default, it's C program files x86 OpenTrack. Then when you open the folder, go to doc, contrib, and you will find FreePy folder. And you can see there is an application in the folder with the file name and APK in the end. So basically, you need to transfer this file to your phone and then install it manually on your phone. So don't forget to check the install from unknown sources in your phone security settings, because you need that application installed. And don't worry, it doesn't have any viruses. I checked myself. I currently have it on my phone and I don't have any problems at all. Now, when you install the FreePy IMU application, open it up, of course, and you'll probably see something close to this. And sorry, I can't show my phone screen properly, basically because I don't have any recording app. So on the top, you'll see the target IP, which is about here, and set it up to your PC IP. So find your local IP. Well, of course, I would recommend hotspot, or if you're on a router, then find up your local IP. But if you don't have well, of course, if you want, you can transfer the data through the internet, but who really needs that? So I recommend using that on basically on a hotspot or router. So use the local IP for the computer. Also set the target port to the selected one. So since I didn't change my port, it's 5555. You don't need to check device index. It doesn't change anything as far as I know. And also, I do recommend setting a checkmark at send orientation. And if you want, you can select a checkmark at send raw data. So basically, phone doesn't need to process it that much. If you send raw data. If you don't select the checkmark, no problem. It still works well. And my option probably even works better a bit. I don't know. But, well, basically, the application uses all your sensors available to track your phone and track your movements, basically. So it's recommended that the phone would have a gyro, but if it doesn't have, like mine, it's not a problem. It still works well. So also select the fastest no delay option at all times at the second selection part, and after everything, just click the off to make it on. And here we go. We are already tracking. And as you can see, the tracking is already working in the application. For example, if I turn my phone to the left, it's tracking well. If I turn my phone to the right, it's also working well. Like pitch, roll, yaw. So that should be pretty good, hopefully, in the game. And you can see the data changing already. So yeah, we are good to go. If you're getting the data, then everything's okay. Of course, as I said, as you turn it on, adjust it to your settings. Like, for example, you might need to invert some access or adjust basically pitch or yaw. Well, output is input that, or output is input that. You know, you get the idea. So basically, you'll need some adjustment, and yeah, you're now ready to use the track IR, or well, head tracking in any supported track IR game. So let's test it out in F1 2017. Now, when you're in the game, don't forget to check the settings if you have actually enabled head tracking on. So go to game options, settings, then go to camera options and make sure you have head tracking with track IR set to on. Other options can be set to whatever you want, but make sure you have that set to on, and because else it won't work. Also, in the meantime, I recommend when you're not using track IR, I recommend setting look to apex limit for cockpit cam. It's absolutely great, and I do recommend it for myself to set it at 10 degrees and adjust it yourself if you want more or less, basically. So yeah, I'm not talking about look to apex, but head tracking. So basically, yeah, have that to on because else it won't work with the OpenTrack application. And after that, you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, if you have the Tropy eye tracking, you can use that. You can have clean UI, like HUD elements will fade out when you're not focusing on them. You can look at the size of the screen to turn the camera, or well, you get the idea. But yeah, to demonstrate it, I'll go to time trial. I'll select classic F1 cars, and I will go with the legendary Ferrari F2004. And for example, I will go in Italy, maybe. I have a time here, so maybe something else easier, like Brazil, for example. So let's load it up, and then I'll demonstrate. So yeah, welcome to the garage, and you can instantly see that the track IR, well, or the so-called head tracking, is already working. I can turn my phone, and I can look down, I can look up. Hey man, where are you looking? I can look left if you want. Like, I can see the mirrors. I can look to the right, and I can see no one is here because I'm on time trial. Of course, I can rotate my head if I want. But the only thing it doesn't add is moving in directions. Like, for example, forwards, backwards, left, right, or up or down. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah, it's something, but yeah, it's not, of course, perfect on phone. It might be better with the tracking clip or whatever. So, yeah. The best thing is it doesn't only work in cockpit cam. Let me just... Oh, Jesus, that sound! Stop. Thank you! Okay, so yeah. In cockpit, yeah, of course, it's working. But, if you want, you can use it... But if you want, you can use it in other cameras too. For example, the standard T-cam, it also works. Nice helmet though, although a bit dark. The offset T-cam, it also works, if you want to use it, of course. The chase cams, if you are really desperate and you're using it like this. The farther chase cam, it also works. Nose cam, well, front cam, it again works well. Even the nose cam, it also works again. So yeah, basically, you can use head tracking for basically, for any camera available in the game, and you can use it pretty well, as you can see right now. Like, I'm turning my phone and it turns well. So yeah, I think this will be the end of my, well, tutorial. Basically, I explained how to use the application and what can you use, and is that everything is working correctly and working really well. So hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the tutorial, or If it was useful to you, leave a like, that would be really appreciated. Or if you have any like questions about this, or does it work with that or that, let me know. I'll try to answer as soon as I can. But again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in another video or live stream, wherever you are. Have a great rest of your day, and yeah, my driver is saying bye bye too. Bye bye. Yeah.